what's going on with the new Madden 24 update that we've been waiting for. And if you're new to the channel and you want to make sure you're always up to date with the latest Madden 24 news and also news for some of the upcoming video games like the NCAA college football video game that's going to be coming out in some months finally from EA Sports, make sure you subscribe and turn the bell icon on. That way you never miss any of these important videos when they go live. Now this update was rumored to be dropping as early as 2 weeks ago, but it was especially supposed to drop this week at the very latest, and yet here we are still with no Madden 24 update. We've got franchise mode users waiting for the draft class bug to be fixed so that they can actually carry out their franchise modes. Now, luckily this year franchise hasn't had a ton of issues like it did last year, but the draft class issues are preventing a lot of leagues from progressing because they want to be able to customize the draft classes to their liking. Now, if this isn't an issue that's been bothering you, then franchise has probably been okay for you so far, but this is a big deal for a lot of users and they've been waiting for this update for many weeks now. In terms of gameplay, we're still waiting on a bunch of things to be addressed and fixed, especially the loot blitz, which we know for sure they are going to be patching. But here we are late Thursday and we still have no update yet. So what's going on? Now, I had confirmation from many people and even competitive players who were down at EA weeks ago saying that this week we were supposed to be getting a title update for the game, which was going to be patching things like the loot blitz and hopefully fixing the draft class issues and other minor issues with the game. Now, this update still could technically be coming tomorrow, Friday. It's not really the most likely thing because EA has very rarely dropped a title update on a Friday, but it has happened. It definitely happened last year at some point, so it's not completely off the table. It's just pretty uncommon. Usually we get title updates anywhere between Monday and Wednesday. Thursday and Friday, it's a lot less likely. So the later we get into the week, the less likely we actually are to get it this week, but there's always a chance is what I'm saying. Now we do know there'll be a roster update later today, but that's not the big update that everybody's waiting for. The big thing is the gameplay and the franchise mode update. So what's likely happening right now, unfortunately, is that EA is waiting for the approval from Sony and Microsoft because we know that this update has been submitted. It was submitted quite a bit ago, and that's why it was supposed to be dropping this week. But the reality is, until Sony and Microsoft approves the update, they cannot push it through. And sometimes it could be both companies, sometimes it could just be one. Maybe it's just Sony that has not cleared it yet, and if they have not cleared it yet, they can't just push it through on the other side, especially now with there being crossplay across so many different game modes. You can't push out an update on one console and not the other. So it could be a situation where one of these consoles are holding things up. It could be both, but that's likely what's going on right now. Hey, really quickly, I want to let you guys know about today's video sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. They're the best fantasy app out there, but my favorite thing about their app is their pick'em game, which I love to play while I'm watching football. Basically, all you have to do is pick higher or lower on a wide variety of player stats, and if they hit, you win big money. If you think you know football, you should be using this to make yourself some money. And right now, they have the best sign-up offer I've literally ever seen from any app. They're matching your first deposit all the way up to $500. So no matter how much you deposit all the way up to $500, they will give you that same amount back for free to play with. And new users also get a free pick at sign up, no matter when you sign up. For tonight, it's going to be Jared Goff to go higher than 0.5 yards. And whenever you sign up, if it's Sunday, if it's Monday, if it's next week, there will always be a new player free pick at sign up and the deposit match. All you have to do is sign up using my promo code RAY, R-A-Y, to unlock the specials and the sign up bonuses. If you think you know football, definitely get in on this and win you some money. Now, I know a lot of people are frustrated because it was supposed to drop this week, and a lot of people are saying it's EA's fault. They're not having enough sense of urgency. They're not pushing this update out. They're taking way too long. They're being lazy. Of course, all of these things are things that you're going to say when the update's not out, but the reality is they can't do anything once they submit it for approval. It's completely out of their hands at that point, and we've seen in the past that sometimes these approval processes could take multiple weeks. Sometimes they happen pretty quickly, but sometimes it's sitting there for 2 to 3 weeks waiting for approval before it can go live. We've definitely seen this with past Madden games where we'd be waiting on a specific update and Sony or Microsoft were just kind of dragging their feet with the whole thing, and it made us have to wait longer to actually receive the update. And the big thing here that I'm a little bit worried about is I'm hoping that this update does contain the draft class fix for franchise mode, because EA did come out last week and said that they found a fix and that they were going to be updating it. They said that they're going to be fixing the issues where you would download custom draft classes and the changes would not be saved, or sometimes when you would download custom draft classes, you would have have weird things like QBs being, you know, fat or something like that, looking completely different than what they would look like in real life with auto-generated classes and custom created classes. They said they found the fixes for all of this and they were going to be pushing it through. But what I'm wondering is that going to actually be in this update that's set to drop, or is that being pushed through in the update that's going to follow? Because if this update was rumored to drop 2 weeks ago and it still isn't out yet, that means that this update was submitted before 2 weeks ago, which would have been before they actually found a fix for the draft class issue. However, if the issue was found last week and they actually submitted it last week hoping that it would be approved for this week, then it will be in this update. But it could really go either way right now. And I think if this update drops and the draft class fix isn't a part of it, a lot of people are going to get pretty frustrated, even though it would definitely be coming in the weeks to follow. People have already been waiting quite a while for it and they don't want to keep waiting. So as it stands right now, it looks like this update will 100% be dropping next week. It could still drop tomorrow. It's definitely not dropping over the weekend. That has never happened. So if not tomorrow, we're probably looking between Monday and Wednesday of next week, which is a little bit frustrating even for me because there's certain things I'm waiting for with this game. There's a lot of gameplay things that I'm hoping they clean up with this update. We've heard the rumors that for sure the loot blitz is going to be gone, which I don't think is really the biggest deal right now because I think defense kind of sucks as a whole, and that's kind of the one thing that works really well on defense, even though it is an exploit. But I'm not really particularly waiting on that. But I know a lot of people that like to play the game a little more casually don't want to keep dealing with the loot blitz, which is understandable. But I'm also waiting to see what they do with passing accuracies. What are they going to be doing with man defense and zone defense? What are they going to be doing with the way route running is right now? We know sometimes routes kind of randomly stop, which is definitely not intended. But on top of that, are they going to be finally adding those new abilities to the game? We believe that they will be because we've seen plenty of leaks with all these new abilities that have been staged and tested, some X factors as well. And we know that EA has staged the game multiple times over the past few weeks, meaning they're getting ready to add something big to the game. Not just gameplay updates, not just franchise mode or ultimate team updates, but they're also going to be looking at probably adding these abilities and maybe something else. We've seen in past games they've added something big to the game post-launch, whether it be Superstar KO, whether it be MUT practice mode, whether it be college teams. We've seen them do pretty big post-launch updates the past few years. This year it could be abilities, but it could be something else on top of that. And if they start introducing all these new abilities to the game, that's going to really change a lot about both franchise, regular play, and ultimate team. And we already know when you try to change the gameplay pretty drastically mid-year, you know, sometimes that can have some negative effects. So a lot of people keep asking where the update is, so I just wanted to throw this update out there for you guys to let you know. If not tomorrow, definitely next week. The plan was for it to drop this week, but at this point, if it has not been approved, that's why it's not dropped. It's not like EA can be like, no, take back, let me get this back, I need to add something to it. No, once it's submitted, it's submitted. So this update is coming out regardless, and there's going to probably be another update that follows shortly after. But until Sony, Microsoft, both, one of them, whichever one is holding it up, until they approve that, there's nothing EA can do. Their hands are just tied at this point, and if it's not out this week, that means it's going to be coming out next week. So I would just say, I know it sucks, but we got to be a little more patient because right now there's nothing really EA or anybody else can do about it until those companies allow it to be pushed through. And make sure to take advantage of these killer sign-up specials at Underdog Fantasy while they last. Limited time $500 deposit match. You can't beat that anywhere on the internet.